Coming up next, we have a couple of first-time Bushwick performers, and I want you to give it up for Ahamefule Oluo and Lindy West.
Hey everyone.
Hi guys. Hey. I know you. So happy to be here. So, our chapters concern Andrew Jackson, the 7th president, also known as Old Hickory. You might recognize him from the $20 bill.
If anyone here has a $20 bill, if you could please take it out and pass it around the room so everyone can.
It's for teaching and learning,
yeah.
You guys. Let's see. Andrew Jackson took office in 1829, and he ran the country till 1837. He had many talents, mainly in the areas of surviving duels, fathering children also named Andrew Jackson. There were 3. He had three. He had more than 3 children, but 3 of the children were all also named Andrew Jackson, FYI. And let's call it troubleshooting issues with Native American populations.
With a musket, troubleshooting with they use muskets to troubleshoot.
Yeah, the troubleshooting was a lot
now
more
we
like
use call centers.
It was a lot more like regular shooting back then, troubleshooting. But a lot of people don't know about one of Andrew Jackson's main talents, which is that he loved giving advice. And he actually had a really popular advice column that was syndicated in many of the top newspapers of the day.
It was called Ask the Prez, DA, and it ran in the Cambridge Post and Slaver, the Boston Bungler, the Gentleman Bandit's Almanac, all the big papers. You know them.
Of the day. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. So we went to the library and we looked through the microfiche, and we managed to dig up some of Andrew Jackson's old Ask da Prez columns. And we printed them out. We're going to read them to you guys. I think it really gives some insight into the character of Andrew Jackson, our 7th president. So, I will be playing the part of person with a problem, and Ahamefule will be playing the part of Andrew Jackson. You guys are passing that money around, right? Okay. Dear Andrew Jackson, Prez. My best friend asked me who I liked. I told her, trusting that she wouldn't tell anyone. Her response was, "Ew, you like him?" The next day, she got one of our other friends to get the guy I like to ask her out. The worst part is that she doesn't even like him, and she's moving away. What should I do? Carol Sandstrom, Leesburg, Virginia.
Dear Carol, it's important to deal with these matters diplomatically. Your first inclination may just be to murder her. But in the spirit of being a good Christian, you should really whip her first, twice, and then murder her. Best wishes, Andrew Jackson.
Dear Andrew Jackson, my dad is so strict. I'm 16 years old, and I've still never even been out on a date. When I try to talk to him about it, he says I'll understand when I'm older. How do I get him to trust me and let me out of the house? Lizzie Cartwright, Bethesda, Maryland.
Dear Lizzie, don't even worry about it. I'm your father now. Oh, also, I moved all of your stuff into the yard. The yard is your new room, and you love it. Sincerely, Andrew Jackson.
Dear Andrew Jackson, I'm getting tired of the frigid winters and crowds here in Boston and thinking of moving to someplace warmer and quieter. Any advice? Carl Dilkington, Boston, Massachusetts.
Dear Carl, you should consider sunny Florida. There are quite a few people living there now, but don't worry, they're relocating. Sincerely, Andrew Jackson. Oh, also, P.S., I should have asked this earlier. Are you white? You're white, right? Because if not, kind of awkward.
Dear Andrew Jackson, my neighbor and I are having a dispute. over the property line between our backyards. He says my fence is encroaching on his property. I say it's fine where it is, and anyway, my yard is already too small. I think he's being selfish. How do we resolve the dispute while remaining friends? Phil Wilson, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Dear Phil, you're right. Your neighbor is being selfish. But I also think you should tear down your fence. Under cover of night, tear it down and move it as far as you like into his yard. If he complains, tell him to take some yard from the neighbor on the other side. If he keeps complaining, whip him twice and murder him. Best, Andrew Jackson.
Dear Andrew Jackson, I'm getting close to retirement and concerned about managing my investments. Do you have any investment advice?
Slaves. Buy all the slaves. Remember the first rule of investment, sell high and buy other human beings. Best, Andrew Jackson.
Dear Andrew Jackson, my husband and I have been invited to a formal white tie reception and sit-down dinner. I've finally found the perfect gown. I'm planning on wearing long white gloves that I've had for many years but never had occasion to wear. What I'm unsure about is what to do with my gloves once I get there. Can I wear jewelry over my gloves? Should they be removed for dinner? Shall I leave them off for dancing? I'm looking forward to being dressed to the nines, but I don't want to overdo it. Help! Marcy Shellhorse, Wilmington, Delaware.
Dear Marcy, long gloves are matronly. Try a chunky bangle instead. Also buy slaves. Thank you, Andrew Jackson.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much.